Yeah, I don't see it as a complete end to my career as a player for Cork City. I've agreed a contract elsewhere, and the situation the club's in at the moment, and it's not great for the club on the contract I'm on, and it doesn't look good for the club at the moment. So maybe it is time for me to move on. Hopefully, whoever comes in and takes over, can get the club up where it should be, and that's up pushing for a title every season.
How tough has it been over the last couple of months, Danny?
Yeah, it's been very frustrating, very tough. Obviously, everyone I think knows you haven't been paid in 13 weeks. It's hard. It's very difficult. It's not what you signed up for to be a professional footballer when you was a young kid and you had all the dreams of being a footballer. It was a bit disheartening. It was kind of put you off football a little bit. But I suppose you have to take the rough with the smooth, and you have to get on with things. And I've got a good offer, a very good club with great history, and I'd like, I think it just had to be taken.
As you mentioned, Danny, you haven't been paid in 13 weeks. This saga has been going on for close on 2 or 3 years now at this point. Why did you stick with the club? Why didn't you cancel your contract sooner and look for work elsewhere?
I think everyone who ever knows me, and anyone who knows anything about me or has ever spoken to me, know that my heart's always been with Cork City, and I've always given 100% whenever I played. I've put my everything on the line whenever I played, and I was probably hoping that someone would come along, swoop the club out and help the club out, and I don't know what the story is now, and it doesn't, it wasn't to me that I could afford to wait any longer to see if that had happened.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, and I might be way off the mark here, but I always got the impression since the new owners came in that they didn't want you at the club full stop.
Well, obviously me and Tom didn't see eye to eye with things at certain stages of the season and certain things that went on, but that's between me and Tom, and what went on between me and Tom stayed between me and Tom. If he had a problem with me, he never come up to me and said it, and never said to me he didn't want me here. So, Roddy's made it very clear to me that he'd love me to stay, he'd still love me to stay, and, it's just that, the situation the club's in at the moment, I can't really afford to stay at the moment.
But you're joining a very, very good team in Shamrock Rovers, one who has definite title aspirations this year.
Yeah, I'm still young, I'm 27 years of age, and obviously I don't want to be one of them players who just goes around the league and not winning trophies, and, I think, they've got a great chance of winning something this year. That's massively turned me on going there. I want to win trophies. I want to be successful, not just be known as someone who was a good left back. I want to have league medals behind my name and cup medals, and be able to say, look, I won this when I'm old enough. When I press the retire, and obviously it's disappointing I've had to leave Cork, but hopefully things will get resolved, and you never know, in the future the door might reopen for me to come back.
And you would love to come back to Cork, Danny?
Yeah, I think anyone knows me, and everyone who knows me, I'd love to play back again for Cork, but at the moment things don't look like, don't look great from my point of view at the moment, and I just hope that the club can sort out the situation it's in, because it's such a shame, not just to the city, but all the people that go and watch every week. People around the city are just so nice, have been so nice to me, and so willing to give you a good word, and just be nice to you. And Cork's been brilliant for me in my career, and I hope that something can be sorted out, because it'd be just such a shame.
How tough is it going to be coming back to the Cross in a Rovers jersey?
I don't know, to be honest. I think you'll have to ask me that a bit closer to the time or after the game, but at the moment, I'm not really thinking about that at the moment. I'm thinking about, going up to a new club and hopefully doing well enough to get into the team and get a position in the team. And
with Dan Murray up there as well, Dan, it's going to make that transition a little bit smoother for yourself, maybe?
Yeah, obviously, with Dan up there and stuff, it was a help, for me to go up there, and as I say, it's a massive club with great history, and it's not a money move for why I'm going. It's not a reason because I've fallen out of anyone here. It's the point of that, at the moment it's just it's the only option I really have at the moment.
What's been the lowest point for you over the past year?
Probably Christmas time, around Christmas time, and with the wages and things like that, it's been very difficult. But having a baby as well was probably, I'd say made it a lot different compared to every other player, because I had something that was brilliant for me at Christmas and looked forward to. And obviously there were certain times in the season when I think when the tax situation went on during the season, that was a low point, and but then. It was still enjoyable going into training every day. We still had a great manager and great coach, and we had a great team, and we all kind of stuck together as a team, and as individuals, we kind of went out the window that way, and we all worked together, and I think put every bad thing that happened in the season behind you because how well we done to finish in the position we did.
It's tremendous team spirit, Dan. I've noticed that over the past year that, as you mentioned, you did stick together, and you probably wouldn't have gotten through it at all if it wasn't for that team spirit that you had. As you mentioned, going 13 weeks without wages, you don't do that if you don't love the club.
Well, I think, you wouldn't ever get that in any other workplace, I've worked in other places and I know that people wouldn't, if they didn't get paid for 3 or 4, for a week or so, they wouldn't work. I think any player who's at that club now and has been at the club has proved that it's such a great club and that they love being there. And I think any new investor needs to realise that the players they've got there want to be there because they love the club. It's not the point of they want to be paid every week, it's the point of that they love being there. It's just the point of that obviously the wages is an added bonus.
It's a very sad situation with Cork City. As a fan myself looking at it now, I've seen the club go from the high point of 5 years ago when we won the league title in Turner's Cross to now seeing the club maybe not being in existence in a few weeks, and to the likes of yourself and Dan Murray leaving Cork City and going to Shamrock Rovers as well. It's very tough on the fans, all this, Danny.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I think the fans have been, well, no matter what happened, whatever I've done with the club, the fans have always been brilliant to me, and I'd like to thank them for that because I don't think to be honest, I probably wouldn't have stayed at the club if it wasn't for the fans. With the stuff that we've been through over the last 2-3 years, probably 2 years that I've been here, I think the fans kind of make you want to be at the club. It wouldn't be through behind for the point of the way the club is run that you'd want to stay at. It's through the point that the crowd you get, the people in the city, the club, the history of the club, and the people that make you want to stay here. And it's got to the point now where I had to follow my head and not my heart, and I had to go with something else. I
know it's easy to say the league win here, Danny, but what's been your best memory in the City shirt?
I would say the league win. I'd say the Centennial Cup was up there as well. Well we done in Europe under Pat Dolan. And under Damien. I've had such great times at Cork City. I don't think I could pick out one in particular thing as my greatest time. I've had amazing times at Cork, and hopefully, as I say, like that, hopefully it's not the end of them times at Cork. Hopefully, the club gets out of the situation it's in within the next couple of years, will be in a better position and be able to move on from the situation it's in at the moment. But at the moment, for me, I didn't see that happening, and I had to kind of sit down with my girlfriend and say, look, can I carry on living my life like this? And I just come to the point where I couldn't.
Danny, remind us again how you arrived at Cork City. It's an interesting story because you sent the club an email and asked, is there any games going, basically?
Yeah, I was over in England and I was kind of like in and out of football. I didn't play for a little while and I kind of had enough of football at the time. And my dad sent, I was playing for Margate in the conference, and my dad sent Pat Dolan an email just saying that, my son's playing there, but, and Pat was over watching his brother's team, which were Halifax at the time. I think it was Halifax, I'm not too sure. It might have been Exeter. And he asked me to come over and play a game. I came over, played against Kilkenny. I played centre midfield, scored a goal, and signed me after that. And that was it then. I never looked back. I didn't go back to England for a couple of weeks, and I was quite delighted to stay.
More on your Cork City career, Danny. Who's the best player you came up against?
Jesus. So I played with some very good players. I'd say, Paddy McCourt was very good. McGinn was a good player. I know some of the European players are very different in the way they played and very interesting to play against, but, come up against some good players and stuff like that, obviously Paddy McCourt will be up there with probably the best ones I played against in this league, because some great players have come out of the league.
A tougher question, who's the best player you've played with?
I'll have to say this because it would annoy Billy Woods, but I'd have to say Neil Fenn. Just because I know it'd drive Woodsy mad because he used to call me Mini Fenny, but I know it annoy him because, I played with some great players. Colin Healy was a class player. Joe Gamble was brilliant. Billy Dennehy was a good player. John O'Flynn, very good. Kevin Doyle was a brilliant player. I played with probably a handful of players that probably could have made it in the Premiership, and great footballers, and I couldn't really pick out an individual player, but I say Fenny just to annoy Woodsy.